Shalom and welcome to Torah and Coffee. We are in Berit, otherwise known as Genesis chapter 28, starting on verse 1. The Haftarah is HOSEA chapter 11, starting on verse 7 through chapter 14, verse 10. And then the BeritHadasah is in John chapter 1, 43 to 45. So, enjoy the reading with me. Berit 28, verse 10. Yaakov left Beersheba and set out to Haran. He came upon a certain place and stopped there for the night, for the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of that place, he put it under his head and lay down in that place. He had a dream. A stairway was set on the ground, and its top reached the sky, and angels of Yahweh were going up and down on it. And Yahweh was standing beside him, and he said, I am Yahweh, the God of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac, the ground on which you are lying. I will assign to you and to your offspring. Your descendants shall be as the dust of the earth, and shall spread out to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. All the families of the earth shall bless themselves by you and your descendants. Coffee. That's why we call coffee and Torah and coffee. Remember, I am with you. I will protect you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to the land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Yaakov awoke from his sleep and said, Surely Yahweh is present in this place, and I did not know it. Shaken, he said, How awesome is this place! This is none other than the abode of Yahweh, and that is the gateway to heaven. Early in the morning, Yaakov took the stone that he had put under his head and set it up as a pillar and poured oil on the top of it. He named that site Bethel, but previously the name of the city has been moved. 20. Yaakov then made a vow saying, If Yahweh remains with me, if he protects me on this journey that I am making, and gives me bread to eat and clothing to wear, and if I turn safe to my father's house, Yahweh will be my God. And this stone which I set up as a pillar shall be Yahweh's abode, and of all that you give me, I will set aside a tithe for you. 28. Yaakov resumed his journey and came to the land of the Easterners. There, before his eyes, was a well in the open. 3 flocks of sheep were lying there beside it. For the flocks were watered from that well. The stone on the mouth of the well was large. When all the flocks were gathered there, the stone would be rolled from the mouth of the well, and sheep watered. Then the stone would be put back on its place on the mouth of the well. Yaakov said to them, My friends, where are you from? And they said, We are from Haran. He said to them, Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, Yes, we do. And he continued, Is it well? They answered, Yes, he is. And there is his daughter Rachel coming with the flocks. He said, It is still broad daylight too early to round up the animals, water the flock, and take them to pasture. But they said, we cannot until all the flocks are rounded up. Then the stone is rolled off the mouth of the water, and we watered the sheep. While they were still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's flock, for she was a shepherdess. And when Yaakov saw Rachel, the daughter of his uncle Laban, and the flocks of his uncle Laban, Yaakov went up and rolled the stone off the mouth of the well and watered the flocks of his uncle Laban. Then Yaakov kissed Rachel and broke into tears. Yaakov told Rachel that he was her father's kinsman, that he was Rivka's son, and she ran and told her father. On hearing the news of his sister's son Yaakov, Laban ran to greet him. He embraced him and kissed him and took him to his house. He told Laban all that had happened. And Laban said to him, you are truly my bone and flesh. When he had stayed with him a month's time, Laban said to Yaakov, just because you are a kinsman, should you serve me for nothing? Tell me, what shall your wages be? Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the older one was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah had weak eyes. Rachel was shapely and beautiful. Yaakov loved Rachel, so he answered, I will serve you 7 years for your younger daughter Rachel. Laban said, better that I give her to you than I should give her to another. Stay with him. 20. So Yaakov served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed to him but a few days because of his love for her. Then Yaakov said to Laban, give me my wife, for my time is fulfilled, that I may cohabit with her. And Laban gathered and all the people of the place and made a feast. When evening came, he took his daughter Leah and brought her to him, and he cohabited with her. Laban had given his maiden servant Zilpah to his daughter Leah as her maid. When morning came, there was Leah. So he said to Laban, what is this that you have done to me? I was in your service for Rachel. Why did you deceive me? Laban said, it is not the practice in our place to marry off the younger before the older. Wait until the bridal week of this one is over, and we will give you that one too, provided you serve me another 7 years. Yaakov did so. He waited out the bridal week of the one, and then he gave him his daughter Rachel as wife. Laban had given his maidservant Bilhah to his daughter Rachel for her maid. 30. I hope you're enjoying the word and the coffee as I do. 30. And Yaakov cohabited with Rachel also. Indeed, he loved Rachel more than Leah, and he served him another 7 years. Yahweh saw that Leah was unloved, and he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. Leah conceived a boy's son and named him Reuben, for she declared, it means Yahweh has seen my affliction. It also means, now my husband will love me. She conceived again and bore a son and declared, this is because Yahweh heard that I was unloved and has given me this one also. So she named him Shimon. Again she conceived and bore a son and declared, this time my husband will become attached to me, for I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore he was named Levi. She conceived again and bore a son and declared, This time I will praise him. Therefore she named him Yehuda. Then she stopped bearing. Chapter 30. When Rachel saw that she had born Yaakov no children, she became envious of her sister. And Rachel said to Yaakov, "Give me children, or I shall die." Yaakov was incensed at Rachel and said, "Can I take the place of Yahweh, who has ordained your fruit of the womb?" She said, "Here is my maid Bilhah. Consort with her, that she may bear on my knees, and that though her I too may have children." So she gave him her maid Bilhah as concubine, and Yaakov cohabitated with her. Bilhah conceived and bore Yaakov a son, and Rachel said, "Yahweh has vindicated me indeed. He has heeded my plea and given me a son." Therefore she named him Dan. Rachel's maid Bilhah conceived again and bore Yaakov a second son. And Rachel said, "A faithful contest I waged with my sister. Yes, and I have prevailed." So she named him Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had stopped bearing, she took her maid Silpah and gave her to Yaakov as concubine. 10. And when Leah's maid Silpah bore Yaakov a son, Leah said, "What luck!" She named him Gad. When Leah's maid Silpah bore Yaakov a second son, Leah declared, "What fortune!" meaning, "Women will deem me fortunate." She named him Asher. Once, at the time of the wheat harvest, Reuben came upon some mandrakes in the field and brought them home to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes." But she said to her, "Was it not enough for you to take away my husband, that you would also take my son's mandrakes?" Rachel replied, "I promise he shall lie with you tonight in return for your son's mandrakes." When Yaakov came home from the field in the evening, Leah went to him to meet him and said, "You are to sleep with me, for I have hired you with my son's mandrakes." And he lay with her that night. Yahweh heeded Leah, and she conceived and bore him a fifth son. And Leah said, "Yahweh has given me my reward for having given me my maid to my husband." So he named him Yisachar. When Leah conceived again and bore Yehuda, when Leah conceived again and bore Yaakov a sixth son, Leah said, "Yahweh has given me a choice gift. This time my husband will exalt me, for I have borne him 6 sons." So she named him Zebulun. Last, she bore him a daughter and named her Dinah. Now Yahweh remembered Rachel. Yahweh heeded her and opened her womb. She conceived and bore him a son, and said, "Yahweh has taken away my disgrace." So she named him Joseph, which is to say, "May Yahweh add another son to me." After Rachel had borne Joseph, Yaakov said to Laban, "Give me leave to go to my own household. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served you, that I may go for well, and you know what service I have rendered you." 27. But Laban said to him, if you will indulge me, I have learned by divination that Yahweh has blessed me in your account. And he continued, name the wages due for me, and I will pay you. But he said, you know well how I have served you and how your livestock has fared with me. 30. For the little you have before I came has grown too much, since Yahweh has blessed you wherever I turn. And now, when I shall make provision for my own household. He said, what shall I pay you? And Yaakov said, pay me nothing. If you will do this thing for me, I will again pasture and keep your flocks. Let me pass through the whole flock today, removing from them every speckled and spotted animal, every dark-colored sheep, and every spotted and speckled goat. Such shall be my wages. In the future, when you go over my wages, let my honesty toward you testify for me. If there is among my goats any other than speckled or spotted, or any sheep that are not dark-colored, they got thereby theft. 34. And Laban said, very well, let it be as you say. But that same day, he removed the streaked and the spotted he-goats, and all the speckled and spotted she-goats, every one that he had that had white in it, and all the dark-colored sheep, and all them in charge of his sons. And he put a distance of 3 days' journey between himself and Yaakov, while Yaakov was pasturing the rest of Laban's flock. Yaakov then got fresh shoots of poplar and of almond and plane, and peeled white stripes in them, laying bare the white of the shoots. The rods that he had peeled he set up in front of the goats in the trough, the water receptacles that the goats came to drink from. There mating occurred when they came to drink. And since the goats mated with the rods, the goats brought forth streaked, speckled, and spotted young. 40. But Yaakov dealt separately with the sheep. He made these animals face the streaks and wholly dark-colored animals in Laban's flock. And so he produced speckled flocks for himself, which did not put with Laban's flocks. Moreover, when the sturdy animals were mating, Yaakov would place the rods in the trough in full view of the animals, so that they mated with the rods. But with the feebler animals, he would not place them there. Thus the feeble ones went to Laban, and the sturdy to Yaakov. So the man grew exceedingly prosperous and came to own large flocks, and maidservants and manservants, camels and asses. Chapter 31. Chapter 31. 1. Now he heard the things that Laban's sons were saying. Yaakov has taken all that was our father's, and from that which was our father's he was built up all his wealth. Yaakov also saw that Laban's manner toward him was not as it had been in the past. Then Yahweh said to Yaakov, return to the land of your fathers, where you were born, and I will be with you. Yaakov had Rachel and Leah called to called to the field where his flocks was, and said to them, I see that your father's manner toward me is not as it has been in the past, but the God of my father has been with me. As you know, I have served your father with all my might, but your father has cheated me, changing my wages 3 times. 7 again. But your father has cheated me, changing my wages time and again. Yahweh, however, would not let him do me harm. If I said thus, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the flocks would drop speckled young. And if he said thus, the streak shall be your wages, then all the flocks would drop streaked young. Yahweh has taken away your father's livestock and given it to me. 10. Once at the mating time of the flocks, I had a dream in which I saw that the he-goats mating with the flocks were streaked and speckled and mottled. And in the dream, an angel of Yahweh said to me, Yaakov. Here, I answered. And he said, Note that the he-goats which are matted with the flocks are streaked, speckled, and mottled. For I have noted that Laban has been doing to you. For I am God of Bethel, where you promised, anointed a pillar, and where you made a vow to me. Now arise and leave this land and return to your native land. Then Rachel and Leah answered him, saying, Have we still to share in the inheritance of our father's house? Surely he regards us as outsiders, now that he has sold us and has used up our purchase price. Truly, all the wealth that Yahweh has given away from our father belongs to you and to our children. Now then, do just as Yahweh has told you. Thereupon Yaakov put his children and wives on camels, and he drove off all his livestock and all the wealth that he had amassed, the livestock in his possession that he had acquired in Padan Aram, to go to his father Yitzhak in the land of Canaan. Meanwhile, Laban had gone to shear his sheep, and Rachel stole her father's household idols. Yaakov kept Laban the Aramean in the dark, not telling him that he was fleeing, and fled with all that he had. Soon he was across the Euphrates and headed towards the hill country of Gilead. On the 3rd day, Laban was told that Yaakov had fled. So he took his kinsman with him and pursued him a distance of 7 days, catching up with him in the hill country of Gilead. But Yahweh appeared to Laban the Aramean in a dream by night and said to him, Beware of attempting anything that Yaakov. 24. But Yahweh appeared to Laban in Aramean in a dream by night and said to him, Beware of attempting anything with Yaakov, good or bad. Laban overtook Yaakov, and Yaakov had pitched his tent on the height, and Laban with his kinsmen encamped on the hill country of Gilead. And Laban said to Yaakov, What did you mean by keeping me in the dark and carrying off my daughters like captives of the sword? Why did you flee in secrecy and mislead me and not tell me? I would have sent you off with festive music with tremble and lyre. You did not even let me kiss my sons and daughters goodbye, as for a foolish thing for you to do. I have it in my power to do harm, but the God of your father said to me last night, beware of attempting anything with Yaakov, good or bad. 30. Very well, you have to leave because you were longing for your father's house. But why did you steal my gods? Yaakov answered Laban, saying, I was afraid because I thought you would take my daughters from me by force. But anyone with whom you find your gods shall not remain alive. In the presence of your kinsmen, point out what I have of yours and take it. Yaakov, of course, did not know that Rachel had stolen them. So Laban went into Yaakov's tent and Leah's tent and the tent of the maidservant, but he did not find them. Leaving Leah's tent, he entered Rachel's tent. Rachel, meanwhile, had taken the idols and placed them in the camel's cushion and sat on them, and Laban rummaged through the tent without finding them. For she said to her father, let not my Lord take it amiss that I cannot rise before you, for the period of women is upon me. Thus he searched, for could not find household idols. Now Yaakov became incensed and took up his grievance with Laban. Yaakov spoke up and said to Laban, what is this crime? What is my crime? What is my guilt? That you should pursue me. You rummaged through all my things. What have you found of all your household objects? Set it there before my kinsmen and yours, and let them decide between us two. These 20 years I have spent in your service. Your ewes and she-goats never miscarried, nor did I feast on rams from your flock. For that was torn by beasts I never brought to you. I myself made good the loss. You exceeded it of me, whether snatched by day or snatched by night. 40. Often scorching heat ravaged me by day, and frost by night, and sleep fled from my eyes. Of the 20 years that I have spent in your household, I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters and 6 years for your flocks, and you changed my wages time and again. Had not the God of my fathers, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Jacob been with me, you would have sent me away empty-handed, but Yahweh took notice of my plight and the toil of my hands, and he gave judgment last night. Then Laban spoke up and said to Jacob, the daughters are my daughters, the children are my children, and the flocks are my flocks. All that you see is mine. Yet what can I do now about my daughters or the children they have borne? Come then, let us make a pact, you and I, that there may be witnesses between you and me. Thereupon Yaakov took a stone and set it up as a pillar. And Yaakov said to his kinsmen, gather stones. So they took stones and made a mound, and they partook of the meal there by the mount. Laban named Yegar Sahadutha, but Yaakov named it Galaed. And Laban declared, this mount is a witness between you and me this day, That is why it was named Gal Ed, and it was called Mizpah, because he said, "May Yahweh watch between you and me when you are out of sight of each other. If you ill-treat my daughters or take other wives besides my daughters, though no one else be about, remember, Yahweh himself will be witness between you and me." And Laban said to Jacob, Here is the mount, and here the pillar which I have set up between you and me. This mount shall be witness, and this pillar shall be witness, that I am not to cross to the pass this mount, and that you are not to cross to me past this mount and this pillar with hostile intent. May the God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the ancestral deities, judge between us. And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Jacob. Jacob then offered up a sacrifice in the heights and invited his kinsmen to partake of the meal. After the meal, they spent the night on the height. Early in the chapter 32, verse 1. Early in the morning, Laban kissed his sons and daughters and bade them goodbye. Then Laban left on his journey homeward. Jacob went on his way, and angels of Yahweh encountered him. When he saw them, Jacob said, "This is Yahweh's camp." So he named the place Mahanaim. This concludes the reading of Bereshit or Genesis. Let's turn to the Haftarah in HOSEA. The Haftarah, HOSEA, chapter 11, starting on verse 7. My people persist in its defection from me. When it is summoned upward, it does not rise at all. How can I give you, O Ephraim? How surrender you, O Israel? How can I make you like Atma, render you like Zeboim? I have had a change of heart. All my tenderness is stirred. I will not act on my wrath. I will not turn to destroy Ephraim. For I am Yahweh, not man, the Holy One. In your midst I will not come in fury. 10. Yahweh will roar like a lion, and they shall march behind him. When he roars, his children shall come fluttering out of the west. They shall flutter from Egypt like sparrows from the land of Assyria, like doves, and I will settle them in their homes, declares Yahweh. Chapter 12. Ephraim surrounds me with deceit, the house of Israel with guilt. But Yehudah stands firm with Yahweh and is faithful to the Holy One. Ephraim tends the wind and pressures the gale. He is forever adding illusion to calamity. Now they make a covenant with Syria. No oil is carried to Egypt. Yahweh once indicated Yehudah and punished Jacob for his conduct, requited him from his deeds. In the womb he tried to supplant his brother, Grown to manhood, he strove with a thriving being. In the womb, he tried to supplant his brother. Grown to manhood, he strove with divine being. 5. He strove with angels and prevailed. The other he had swept and implored him. At Bethel, Yaakov would meet him there to commune with him. Yet Yahweh, the God of hosts, must be invoked as Yahweh. You must return to your God, practice goodness and justice, and constantly trust in your God. A trader who uses false balances, who loves to overreach. Ephraim thinks, I have become rich, I have gotten power. All my gain do not amount to an offering, which is real guilt. 10. I, Yahweh, have been your God ever since the end of Egypt. I will let you dwell in your tents again, as in the days of old, when I spoke to the Nephilim. For I have granted many visions and spoke parables through the Nephilim. As for Gilead, it is worthless, and to no purpose have they been sacrificed. Oxen in Gilead, the altar of those are also like stone heaps upon a plowed field. Then Yaakov had to flee to the land of Aram. There Yisrael served for his wife. For a wife he had to guard sheep. But when Yahweh brought Yisrael up from Egypt, he was through a Navi. Though a Navi, they were guarded. Ephraim gave bitter offense, and his Lord cast his crimes upon him, and he requited him for his mockery. 13. Chapter 13. When Ephraim spoke piety, he was exalted in Israel, but he incurred guilt through Baal, and so he died. And now they have done sinning. They have made them molten images, idols, by their skills from the silver, wholly the work of craftsmen. Yet for those they appoint men to sacrifice, they are wont to kiss calves. Assuredly, they shall be like morning clouds, like dew, so early dawn, like chaff whirled away from the threshing floor, and like smoke from the ladders. Only I, Yahweh, have gone. Only I, Yahweh, have been your God ever since the land of Egypt. You have never known a true Yahweh but me. You have never heard a helper other than me. I look after you in the desert, in the thirsty land. When they grazed, they were sated. When they were sated, they grew hardy, and so they forgot me. So I am become like a lion to them, like a leopard I lurk in the way. Like a bear robbed of her young, I attack them and rip open the casing of their hearts. I will devour them like a lion. The beasts of the field shall mangle them. You are undone, O Israel. You have no help but me. 10. Where now is your king? Let him save you. Where is your chieftain in all your towns, whom you demanded? Give me a king and officers. I give you kings in my earring, and take them away in my wrath. Ephraim's guilt is bound up. His sin is stored away. Pangs of childbirth assail him, and the babe is not wise. For this is no time to survive at the birth stool of babes. From Sheol itself I will save them, redeem them from every death. Where, O death, are your plagues? Your pestilence, where, O Sheol? Revenge shall be for my thoughts. For though he flourishes among reeds, at blast a wind of Yahweh shall come blowing up from the wilderness. His fountain shall be parched, his spring dried up. The wind shall plunder treasure, every lowly object. Chapter 14. Someone must fear guilt, for she has defiled her God. They shall fall by the sword, their infants shall be dashed to death, and their women with child ripped open. Return, O Israel, to Yahweh your God, for you have fallen because of your sin. Take words with you and return to Yahweh. Say to him, forgive our guilt and accept what is good. Instead of bulls, I will pay the offerings of our lips. Assyria shall not save us. No more we ride on steeds, nor ever again will we call our handiwork our God. Since you are alone, orphans find pity. I will heal the afflicted generously. Will I take them back in love? For my anger has turned away from them. I will be to Israel like dew. He shall blossom like the lily. He shall strike root like a Lebanon tree. His boughs shall spread out far. His beauty shall be like the olive trees. His fragrance like that of Lebanon. They too sit in his shade shall be revived. They shall bring to life new grain. They shall blossom like the vine. His scent shall be like the wine of Lebanon. Ephraim shall say, what more have I to do with idols? When I respond and look to him, I become like a verdant cypress. Your fruit is provided by me. 10. He who is wise will consider these words. He who is prudent will take note of them. For the paths of Yahweh are smooth. The righteous can walk on them, while sinners stumble on them. This concludes the Haftarah. Let's get into the BeritHadasah, which is in John chapter 1. Starting on 43 to 51. John chapter 1, 43 to 51. The next day, having decided to leave for the Galilee, Yeshua found Philip and said, follow me. Philip was from Bethsaida, the town where Andrew and Kepha lived. Philip found Nathanael and told him, we found the one that Moshe wrote about in the Torah, also the prophets. Is Yeshua ben Yosef from Nazareth? Nathanael answered him, Nazareth? Can anything good come from there? Come and see, Philip said to him. Yeshua saw Nathanael coming toward him and remarked about him, here's a true son of Israel. Nothing falls in him. Nathanael said to him, how do you know me? Yeshua answered him, before Philip called you, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you. Nathanael said, Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the king of Israel. Yeshua answered him, you believe all this just because I told you I saw you under the fig tree. You will see greater things than that. Then he said to him, yes, indeed, I'll tell you that you will see heaven open and the angels of God going up and coming down on the Son of Man. This concludes Torah and Coffee. I hope you enjoyed the reading and are blessed from the reading. May Yah shine upon you. May He lead you and guide you into His truth and His righteousness, and let you prosper in His shalom. In Yeshua's name, Amen. Until next week, for Torah and Coffee, we bid you shalom.